Today is the last day to enroll in Q3 and Q4 of the Crypto Mindset course. I am joined by Charlie and Miguel for Q&A on this last day for enrollment. Crypto Aces starts right now. What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this edition of Crypto Oasis. I am joined by my partners in crypto crime. Actually, shouldn't have said crypto crime.
Well, I don't know if that rolls off the tongue.
Look around and lose the channel already, man. Listen, how many times you guys remember, what was this, 3 years ago? 3 years ago, back in 2021, we were doing a crypto show, and boom, the channel disappeared, right?
Right.
I got the channel back the very next day. We tried it again the next week, and the channel disappeared. Well, thankfully, we don't have those problems anymore. At any rate, how you guys doing today, man?
Good
Stuff. Miguel, how you doing, man?
Yeah, doing real great, brother. Yeah, I was gonna crack some tornado.cash joke, but I was like, nah.
Yeah, we have to wait till Gary Gensler's out of office. Trump's elected, then we'll be.
Attaboy, there you go.
Yeah.
Shout out to Trump, man. He's saying within a year in office, he's going to cut gas down by 50%. I believe him too.
So.
Yeah, there was a huge oil discovery in up there in Alaska.
Oh,
that they're saying it's. I don't know if it's all the way on par with Saudi Arabia, but it's pretty up there. Like, it's one of the biggest oil discoveries ever.
That would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome. Dude, I don't know how much is, dude, I know gas out in California is like $6 a gallon. Out here in Nevada, I think it's like $4.50, sometimes $5. So it's on. Let me start off with this first question. So Tonio8187 says, is this the last crypto mindset course before takeoff? Does takeoff, so when is takeoff? I guess that's when you guys start your webinars.
Yeah, I think he's making two references. One, to when the course begins, and then another to when the market starts taking off and Bitcoin's hitting new all-time highs above $75,000. So for the first part, talking about takeoff for the Crypto Mindset course itself, that'll be next Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 a.m. Pacific. And we'll have our first webinar where we're talking to you guys about our Q4 thesis here. The reason why we mention it as the Q3 and Q4 course is because we are trying to emphasize to our audience, the Moon Gang, that we're bundling. We basically skipped Q3 on purpose in order to bundle these together because we think Q4 is going to be the best move of the year.
Okay.
And in terms of takeoff, there's one stat I can show you guys a little bit later when I share a chart or something. But basically, there's a thing called it's called the 60-day cycle, and we've never had 4 bearish 60-day cycles in a row. And currently we're on the 4th one. So even if we were to go down into the election, then it's highly likely, I would say like 90% likely that we hit new all-time highs on Bitcoin before the end of the year. And then my guess is 100K could be a chance, in the first quarter of next year.
Woo! 100K for, but
I mean, watch out with all the bombs flying around,
Okay.
That's the only thing that could kind of like shake up markets a little bit here.
Look, Charlie, I love how you see, because I'm the layperson, right? I am your audience. So when I hear 100K in quarter one, I'm like, oh, Charlie's like, oh, slow your roll. Hold on. There's some caveats to that.
Well,
go ahead.
One other thing I'll add to that, because that's a good point, is the way that we like to talk about markets is not necessarily the way that is the most clickbaity, right? If you watch a guy like Jim Cramer, he says, exactly, this is going to happen. This sucks. This is awesome. And right?
Absolutely.
So he does the rah thing, and he does it like this is certain to happen, right? And that gets views because that's what people want to hear, right?
Sure, of course.
But what we like to do is we like to give people, hey, here's our main thesis. This is what we think is happening, right? This is when it can happen. This is the prices. We give all the details possible. We show our work on it. And then we say, but there's nothing 100% sure. We can't tell the future, right? We're just looking at probabilities here. And so what are the things that could create chaos in the market, or what are things that could kind of shake things up like a snow globe a little bit, even if it's for a short period of time? We give you guys those ideas of, where things can shift, because in financial markets, if you look at anybody who works at Goldman Sachs or any of these types of companies, they got to be moving and shaking, right? Because the market can change like that.
Okay, so Miguel, you just heard Charlie reference $100,000 Bitcoin in Q1. How real? Because again, a guy like me gets very excited when I hear numbers like that. So, to the layperson, if I'm a first-time enrollee of the Crypto Mindset course Q3, Q4, and I'm in a webinar and I say, "Hey, Miguel, I saw you and Charlie on with Donovan Sharp, and Charlie said that Bitcoin has a chance to hit $100,000 around Q1." What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it seems very likely. We're going to have there's a couple things that are going on, right? Before the year, we're going to have interest rates lower another 50 basis points. We've already got the first cut. So in 2024, by the end of it, we'll have 100 basis points, 1% off the interest rates.
Okay.
It makes it cheaper to borrow. This makes a lot easier for people to buy and sell their houses and refinance. Now, 1% is not enough to really change things. But what happens is we're going to have continual interest rate cuts into 2025.
Okay.
They've promised another basically 1% lower. Now, we're probably going to get a few, maybe one, maybe two in Q1. And then from there, I think they'll just kind of like put them in when they need to.
Okay.
But this is kind of the big kind of like jet fuel we have, because if the economy gets weak, they're just going to cut interest rates even more.
Okay.
We're the most liquid market on the planet. So the cheaper it is to borrow money, the more money can move around, the more we kind of take our foot off the neck of real estate, the more that it actually can pump. So all that capital moving around ends up kind of going into equities, and then i.e. going into crypto. So it makes it we're in a much more bubbly sort of environment. Now, the really big key thing here is who's going to win the election, because that's really it doesn't. Let's just say I truly believe the president doesn't do anything, right? But it sets the tone for you have a person that at least is trying to cause the least amount of damage versus something that can cause maximum damage.
Okay.
And I would say Orange Man good. Orange Man good
instead of Orange Man bad, huh?
Yeah, no. Orange Man good for Orange Coin. Very good, right?
Very good.
Very, very good. So I would say it's extremely likely. I mean, at the worst case, I think we'd probably be in the $80,000-$90,000 zone for Bitcoin. And that other the guy who put the chat up there, like, what takeoff seems for me is really when we hit this point of like I've always called it like it's a point in time where like you hit a certain amount percent above the old all-time high. For me, it's around like $80,000 Bitcoin, because at that point, even if we get a crash, we'll still be above the old all-time high.
Wow.
So at that point, you hit this kind of a small euphoria where people are like, oh, shoot, I need to start allocating. So people who are on the sidelines start just dumping money in, because for the people that are paying attention right now, because they're like, oh, crap, I messed up. It's going up now.
Right.
And that's the difference between – that's the difference of $20,000.
And that's a lot of fucking money, man.
It's a lot of freaking money, but this is, if you put the price up one more time,
sure, let's go.
The market is really dependent on the Bitcoin price. Watch it. So if we're at $59,000, that's it, Donovan. It's all over. I mean, I've got to pack it up. The bull run is done.
The bull run's over.
We're above 60,000. This bull run isn't all over, you guys. I mean, shame on you guys for believing this run's over. I'm the biggest perma bull in the world, and I've seen it on Twitter. I make jokes about it all the time on my channel that like. We're at 59,000. It's all over. 60,000. There's hope in this world, Donovan. You can't give up on yourself.
I love it. So let me ask you this, Charlie, because both of you have made reference to the election. Will the election affect the crypto market? And if so, how will it affect it? And part 3 is what does that mean for guys like us?
Yeah, very good question. So there's a few different aspects to it, right? I would say the first aspect is like what does each candidate, what's their track record with crypto?
Okay.
Right?
Oh, okay. Makes
so
sense.
like how's it going to affect the industry first, not necessarily, the price right away. Because to be honest, both parties love money, and they both, are going to have the Fed basically start the money printer again at some point in 2025. And then the Fed has its own, standard of interest rate cuts and everything that they're going throughout next year. So, and it's likely to last throughout the majority of the year. So the stuff with the Fed, I think, is unlikely to change too much. The stuff that I think is much more likely to change is policy on crypto. Now, Kamala Harris and the Democrats, they are notoriously known in the crypto space for this thing called Operation Choke Point 2.0, which was Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, and a handful of other people in the Biden administration, that in the beginning of 2023, they purposely came together, possibly colluding with Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler was known way back, in 2021 in May to have visited Sam Bankman-Fried, out there in the Bahamas, and didn't, come down on them with anything until basically it was found out that they were criminal, in their actions at the end of 2021, right? So, or beginning of 2022, or sorry, end of 2022, middle and end of 2022. So there's people in here that are like trying to bring crypto down, trying to slow it down. Very strange on the Democratic side. And all of a sudden they came out like a couple of weeks ago and said, oh yeah, we're going to be very pro crypto. Right. And it's like, yeah, right.
That's what they
say.
So
like, and then the other thing Kamala Harris recently tweeted out was like, which I think is a little bit more of a political issue, but it affects people in crypto because the majority of people in crypto are men. She was saying in a tweet, I think she put out yesterday on her official Twitter, she put out, there's no evidence basically that there's any law in America that affects men's bodies. And everybody was like, do you not look at the draft?
Here we go.
We've had some like millions of men die for this country over our entire history. I think that counts, right? And so,
yeah, I think it does. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. So they're extremely against crypto. They're extremely against men in general, I think.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're a man and you're in crypto, especially, like, there's only one clear choice. I don't mean to get too political on anybody, but
no, this is, I mean,
yeah. And so Trump, on the other hand, he has made an NFT collection. He has made a blockchain now called World Liberty Financial. He's also, said that he's going to have a Bitcoin reserve. The United States has about 200,000 Bitcoin, and they had sold some of those off. Germany had about 50,000 that they sold off in the summer, and it barely affected price.
Damn.
And so, and then the country of Bhutan, which has 700,000 people, which is in the Himalayas, basically has 13,000 Bitcoin, which is a third of their annual GDP. So there's some smart countries, there's some dumb countries. And I think this election, that's going to be the biggest effect, is who do we choose and how does that affect this market, its growth? Because if America basically is anti-crypto, then they're just stunting the ability for capitalism to really flourish, in my opinion. But that's just one of the effects, I think. And I think either way, we're going to get money printing. But I do think we could have a more sustained bull market as well, with Trump being more friendly with, if we get regulations taken off, you start seeing your altcoins do well, all these coins start going up. Whereas, if they just do money printing a little too quickly, the Democrats could ramp up the price and then crash the price at the same time, and we don't really get a sustained bull run. So those are the two aspects that I think are important, but Miguel might have some others.
Yeah, go ahead, Miguel.
Yeah, basically the best thing that could have happened for the United States is that basically most of the crypto market, I would say 90% internationally and everywhere else, is denominated in dollars, right?
Okay.
The biggest stable coins are all in dollars. There is some local currency like stable coins, but they're very, very weak. It's Tether, it's USDC, it's DAI, and a couple of other derivatives of dollars, but they're all dollar-based coins. Like the crypto market is dollars, period.
Yeah.
Internationally and anything else. Yeah. So it's this whole thing where this is actually in a way causing the destruction of other smaller currencies, but allowing their citizens to essentially onboard into the U.S. financial system.
Wow.
Even though it's a globalized system, it is a U.S. global system because more than I think 80% of all international trade is in dollars.
Jesus, that I did not know.
Yeah, corporate debt is almost all in dollars. There is obviously like Japanese companies can owe debt to other Japanese companies or things like that, but in talking about international companies, the dollar is king. I mean, like you can put all the BRICS countries together and they don't even equal 10%.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So
I had no idea. I did not know that 80% of, what did you say? 80% of everything
global trade. All global trade is in dollars, and that's been put on purpose. But it's just because it's the most trusted. It holds up the best.
Okay.
If you're in Argentina, you don't want the peso. You want the dollar, right?
No,
you're in any country on this planet, right? You spend the bullshit currency that you earn, and then you save it in dollars, or you save it in equities, right?
Okay.
That's just it. I mean, like you buy U.S. real estate. I mean, the best assets to buy is in the States because they have a rule of law, and you just can't get your shit stolen.
Okay. All right. Wow. I like that. I like the fact that you guys are saying, hey, because you guys know America, we get a bad rap. People say we're not the strongest country in the world. The dollar is weak and this and that and the third, but there's a reason why people are beating down our doors to get into this country.
Oh yeah.
Vic Bish says this bull run will probably break records like one never seen before. Charlie, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, 100%. I think, if you look at Bitcoin over its history, right? Bitcoin specifically will have diminishing returns over time. So less X's from bottom to top of a bull market.
Okay.
But, it's basically deflationary, right? It's an anti-inflationary asset. And the dollar value of it, I think, will basically get so big that people, like your normal people, on Main Street, Wall Street, everybody would be like, holy shit. Like if this coin is $100,000 for one coin and it was like pennies, 15 years ago, I'm pretty sure most people can't ignore that at that point. Right. And so that's where I think you see records broken a lot is, the amount of coins that we have, the amount of new chains that we have, the amount of development that we have in this space, the amount of adoption that we have in this space, the amount of dollars that are flooding into this space. The total crypto market cap right now is about 2.3 trillion, if I remember correctly.
2.44.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. My bad.
It should be at the very top. Yeah. Anyways, it's around
2.2. It's getting closer to 2.3 trillion, but yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. So, and each market cap website has it a little different too.
Okay.
But that's total crypto market cap. We're thinking that within this bull market, that can reach anywhere between about $6 to $9 trillion.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's going to break a record too.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, gold right now in terms of market cap is just under $18 trillion. So if you look at market cap by like biggest assets in the world, Bitcoin is basically about $250 billion higher than Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh my God.
It's about 300.
Warren Buffett.
Yeah, 300, and he hates it, which is great.
Oh, of course he does.
And then we have 300 billion behind Facebook, and gold is 18 trillion. So gold does continue to increase by about a 2x every 4 years on the Bitcoin cycle. So it will take probably a little bit more than a decade to 15 more years for Bitcoin to flip gold and market cap. But then if it does, it could be the #1 asset in the world. So yeah, there's a lot of exciting things ahead. And I think
jump on the bandwagon, y'all. Look, man, look. Bitcoin being the #1 asset in the world, that is a real possibility, man. I like the way that happens. Mike's World says, and I don't know what this is. He's like, are you guys into Cat 20, the bleeding edge of tech? What is Cat 20, and are you guys into it?
No, but it's basically, if I remember correctly, it's like a layer 2 on Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. No, thank you.
Yeah,
okay.
I would say one that I do like as like a building on top of Bitcoin is there's a thing called Core, CORE.
Okay.
They're trying to basically bring Ethereum virtual machines, the Ethereum EVM, which allows you to basically run Ethereum apps on Bitcoin is what they're trying to do. So there's a bunch of these projects that right now there's ruins, there's all this stuff that's being experimented now with Bitcoin.
Right.
And oftentimes what you see in crypto is stuff, there's the meme that says we're in it for the tech, right? Which is, just a joke that, we're in it for the money. And
why else would we be here?
Right. And I mean, the tech is powerful and there's other things we could do with it, but the money is what attracts people to this space, of course. And so when you see new tech in crypto, oftentimes what happens is there's going to be a smart project it's built, but maybe they don't know tokenomics or they don't know marketing. They're too much into basically the tech. And then if the coin doesn't move, somebody just steals the technology and puts it in a new project with better tokenomics, and that's the one that succeeds. So it's not always the first mover advantage when it comes to new tech and crypto. So there's always stuff being experimented with Bitcoin right now. But
I appreciate your input here. Lorenzo says Charlie's going to buy the Minnesota Vikings after this bull run. Man,
the Wilfs are a little too rich for my blood, I think.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, oh yeah, Ziggy Wilf. That's the owner of the Vikings. Yeah, shout out to him, dude. The 5-0 Minnesota Vikings. Who the
believe
hell?
in yourself, Charlie. Believe in yourself.
It's like what I need, like $10 billion.
Yeah, dude, oh my God! Not only do you need $10 billion, you have to be approved by the owners and all that. You know, Roger Goodell's got to be involved and all that good stuff. So
the one thing I will say is there's a couple interesting stats for the Vikings this year, right, that have happened so far.
Yeah.
The one is that, well, maybe a handful, right? But one is that we've only been trailing for 3.5 minutes over those 5 games.
That's all right.
Each game is 60 minutes, by the way, for those who don't know.
Wow, very, very nice. Now you speak. See, now I can be involved in this conversation.
The last 6 teams to have less than 5 minutes of being behind in their first 5 games when they went 5-0. 60% of them won the Super Bowl, 40% of them lost the Super Bowl, but they all went to the Super Bowl.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Hey, if you want a good little bet there at MGM Vegas, you know, or whatever, you know, maybe, or, you know, go over.
You were hoping to lose to the Chiefs, right? Or who was the team you said you were trying
to? Bro, yeah.
It's always Kansas City.
Well, like Kansas City beat us in our first Super Bowl back in like 71 or
Super
something
Bowl
like that.
3, I think it was, or Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, man, it was just like, you know, what a generation started giving up on the Vikings at that point, right?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, of course,
so like
through the 70s with the purple people leader defenses and John Randall and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, John Randall in the 90s was awesome as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like back then it was like
Fran Tarkenton.
Yeah, Fran Tarkenton for sure.
Those guys did so much for the sport though, because they were so underpaid at the time.
Oh my God,
for what they were doing, dude. Oh my God, like how hurt they were getting. I think up until like mid 80s when the pay really started getting.
Brett Favre's down with Parkinson's and he was playing until the 2000s.
Yeah. It's only been recent, man. Like these record-breaking contracts are really. It's only really recent, but honestly, man, I think that football players, they've probably been underpaid until about a decade ago.
Yeah.
Like, real talk, man. Like,
well, it's because you hear the headlines and you're like, oh, that number's really large, but then you don't also know like all the bench players and all the people there. Like,
yes.
Well, and all the risk for playing, man. I mean, Favre's a G. Just like you got beat to shit in 2009. You know, when we were supposed to make the last Super Bowl, when New Orleans got there instead of us. By, Bounty Gate, right?
Oh my God, that was if I'm not mistaken, that was the 15-1 Randall Cunningham season and I think there was
that was 1998.
That was 98 when Gary, what was his name? When Gary Anderson, who had to miss the field goal all year long, picked the NFC title game to miss that field goal. Now, listen to me. If it makes you feel any better, it didn't matter who went to that Super Bowl. John Elway and the Broncos.
For sure.
Ray Finkel, bro. Ray Finkel. You know, laces out, baby.
Laces out, tuck it in.
Yeah, if the Vikings were to make it to the Super Bowl this year, which I think, you know, we have a 50%
they have a chance.
Point. And then, and if we win against the Chiefs, man, like all of a sudden, like everybody in Minnesota can finally breathe again. We're like, we finally did it. But I don't think the national media will really recognize the Vikings until we win 2. So, you know, we got to repeat.
All right, fair enough.
You mean like 2 back-to-backs or just 2 in a certain amount of years?
2 within a decade.
3, 2 and 4 years, whatever the case
may be.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Kind of like the Chiefs who have won 3 of the last like 4 or 5, something like that.
Bro, as soon as I start seeing Vikings a dynasty, I'm shorting.
Sell it all.
Sell it all.
Sell it all. Sell it all. No diamond hands there. XXXY, the guy says, what are their thoughts on reserve rights and not the stable coin, but it's backed by the stable coin called reserve rights? Let me let Miguel lead off with this one, and then I'll get with Charlie.
So RSR, really great coin. I had high hopes for it last cycle. It just hasn't performed at all. It hasn't done much. The same thing with XRP, XLM. I thought RSR was a much better version than XRP and XLM, but it just didn't really show much price. You know, the price of the token really didn't go up much. They basically focused most of their money trying to essentially create like a stable coin it's basically a stable coin for poor countries, right? and they'd be able to give people these coins, the stable coin, they'd be able to spend them, and it's pretty much like they're trying to like kick out government. What they're kind of doing in a sneaky way is trying to kick off small governments from their like their whole citizens are going to just ditch their local currency and just go off to their currency.
Right.
Is a dangerous.
That's not going to happen, dude.
It's probably not going to happen. It's going to be hard. I mean, some people could use it, but it's a dangerous business because if they were really successful, I mean, that's like assassination 101. How that ends up happening.
Assassination 101. Better watch out using that kind of language. What are your thoughts on the what is it? RSR you call
RSR.
it? RSR. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, when the first time we did recommend it, it did do a really nice move at the end of 2020 going into 21. So that was the only time it did make a nice pump. I think it's come back a little bit, so it's not dead. But yeah, I think a lot of these projects, they're very innovative.
Okay.
But they kind of seem like, kind of test pilot projects.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Might not make it through the long term, but that they can copy the successful parts of it and then try another project similar to it, maybe with even the same team. So probably good if you like the coin, right? It's probably good to keep tabs on the team, once every 3 months or so, and then just kind of see what they're building, what they're doing.
Okay, good stuff, man. Yeah, good answers, good insight. It's interesting. New coins are always sort of touch and go. Some of them do well. I think that most of them probably don't. Now this is interesting. I would like for you guys to let me make sure we can all see everybody. So Sebastian Arndt says, if you haven't joined Crypto Mindset course, join the Citadel. I'd actually like to get both your opinions. Miguel, what is the Citadel and what is the advantage? What's the biggest advantage as far as you're concerned?
So we created it originally for a place where people can actually just talk crypto. It's like I had this big problem when I first started in crypto or in investments in general. Is everyone around me, no one wants to talk about money.
Right.
Unless it's stupid ways of making money or a dumb flip. Like no one wants to talk about investing. No, I need money today, right?
Right.
So anytime I try to have these ideas, like, oh, I'm putting money into crypto or I'm doing stocks, everyone just looked at me like I was crazy. So we created a chat where people can talk about cryptocurrency, ask questions, get answered. Me and Charlie are in there. We have 550 people in there right now inside the Citadel, and we put people in a really positive mindset. So it's about one, that you're not around a bunch of losers. You're around people who are about their money, who are about investing, who are in crypto, because it's a crypto focused chat. And we give a lot of sauce to the guys in that chat. Even during when we're in the course, we usually give them 1 or 2 webinars just to make sure to lead them in the right direction that they're checking out. And for every month that they're in there, they get $50 off the next Crypto Mindset course.
Oh, wow. That's
nice. So it's about $100 a month, and then about half of that just goes to basically if they're going to take the class basically, which is really cool. So yeah, we just did that for all our long-term watchers as a way to make the repeat customers to make it a lot cheaper for them.
Okay, very good. I like the I like this question. Actually, this is actually going to be for me. I would like to know, because this is actually my question. So I'd like to know, guys, what is the projection for Q4 crypto portfolios? Because Q4 is underway. Q4, the fourth quarter started back on October the 1st. We're 6 days in. For someone, for a guy like me with my knowledge, the very remedial basic knowledge that I have, if I get into the Crypto Mindset course, what's the projection for the Q4 crypto portfolio? I'll start with Charlie, and then I'll get Miguel's thoughts on this.
Yeah, definitely. So depending on how October plays out, the way that I think right now October looks like it's going to be playing out is there's going to be a lot of chopping, sideways action.
What is that?
Just basically, a range of price right now. Bitcoin's price.
Gotcha. Okay, makes sense.
Is 63,240, and it pretty much is ranging right now between $60,400 and $65,000. Once it breaks that range, then it's going to make a move. It could break out to the upside for a little bit and then come back down into the election.
Okay.
Or it could just dump into the election if what do you call it? If stuff happens with Israel, Iran a little bit,
yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
Because that could tank markets for a short period
of time. Yes, it could.
But so that's the area that we're getting into is in this month of October. If you do take a look at Bitcoin. Can I share my screen actually?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and I'll give you permission to.
Okay, let's do that because then I can kind of show you guys what I'm talking about
I'll
at the same time here.
What I'm doing, and then I'll let you.
Okay, let's see. Oops. It takes a few clicks.
Oh yeah. We got 70 people in here watching. Let's like the video. And of course, as soon as I say 70, there it is. Let me add that to the stage. Okay, so it looks like, oh, look at that. Hey, there we go. All right, good stuff. Oh, this is very cool. Yeah, all right, so what are we looking at here?
This is your Bitcoin returns over each quarter. If you do scroll down, you got Bitcoin monthly returns as well. And then you can see kind of some of the charts of that over time. Wow. But the key thing is there's a couple ways to look at this. The election happens to be on the 4-year cycle, meaning usually before the election is when you have Bitcoin's halving, where the future supply is reduced by half. And so that happens a lot of the times on election years. So if you see 2020 here, you had a green October, November, December. And then back in 2016 as well.
Good info.
You actually had bullishness through.
Oh, wow. 2014 was really good. It looks like it had momentum at the end of the third and it carried over to the fourth quarter. Wow. Look at that. Yeah. Same with 15.
Yep. And every time you've had a green September, you've had 3 green months in a row after that as well. And we just had a green September. And we're pretty much for October right now. So things are looking pretty good to have a good, up move here. And so like, if I share the chart here, what I've been looking at is essentially this channel. And so when I say ranging, I was mainly talking about the upper bound of this channel in price. If we just kind of bounce between there for a while. Like I said, if we do go down into the election, the actual bottom of a 60-day cycle, if it were to go a full 60 days, would actually be the election date, which would be Tuesday, November 5th. So if we're like our kind of, and you can also take a trend line from the previous cycle high here across this most recent peak.
Wow. What is this that you're on? Like, what is this?
This is trading views. So
this is awesome.
Yeah, it's basically how you can look at the price. And we break down, like, sometimes people think this is complicated, right? And we just like, okay, what is a chart to begin with? We have technical analysis, which is what this is. And then we have another webinar in the current course that we didn't do last quarter, which is advanced technical analysis. I mean, we did do a version of that, but we're doing a little bit more of a souped up one for this current course. And so if this is like, what the frick is this? But if you're a very visual person, this tends to be kind of how a lot of people like to look at the market. And when you're looking at people on Wall Street and stuff like that, this is always how they're looking at the market. But we have a potential high in here. I'm looking at right now, the peak that we just got here in the last daily candle could be an area that we stay below, which was 64,300. If we were to lose, so that right now, based on this pattern, if we were to lose these lows here, which is about 59,800, if Bitcoin were to close below there, then essentially we dump into the election. If we were to go above the price, which most recently was the high, which was 64,840, so basically 65,000, then if we break above there, then we can actually go up for a little bit, and then we would come into the election and we'd actually be up here in price. So that range that I was talking about is really important to see. Like, do we dump right all the way down here potentially?
Or do we hold
54,000? Right? Or do we hold 64,000? So it's a 10K difference here based on what happens over the next 1 week.
Holy shit, man. Wow. So that is actually, so what you're telling me is that the election will absolutely affect the crypto market.
Yeah, and right after the election, Miguel will probably expound upon this in a bit, which is after the election on the 7th, we have our next interest rate cut discussion, and that happens to be at the beginning of a new 60-day cycle. September 18th is when we saw that last cut of 50 basis points, and we went up for about a week after that. So I'd expect after the election, we'd probably get a pump going into Thanksgiving at least. And the higher we are in price, if we do break above 65,000 and rest on top of this channel, then that basically tells you by around December 5th to December 11th. Around that period of time is probably when we start seeing Bitcoin break towards new all-time highs of 75,000.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, October is a pivotal month, which is why we put the crypto mindset course here. Okay. So regardless, whether, like we're going to get more explosiveness towards the end of the quarter, kind of like you saw on that data here, where this one, you got like a 40% increase at the end there, on the month for Bitcoin. You might see something a little bit more explosive like those years if we hold up better in price. So either way, we set our guys up for success by telling them, hey, these are the probabilities. This is what to look for. When XYZ happens, right? If we break below 59 or we break above 65, then you know exactly what action to take, when to take it, how strongly to take it. And then we lead you into how to make profit from there. So we give you guys some plays, but then we also teach you how to find your own plays.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Miguel. To piggyback off of what Charlie was saying, what is, just based off of what he was just explaining, what is Miguel's, rendition of the projection for, Q4 crypto portfolios?
So I think they're going to be quite positive. We've already seen some decent moves in just overall in what the coins we've kind of been recommending over the last quarter, but as well as the ones, there's new ones we're going to be recommending and other ones we're going to have profit taking opportunities, right?
Oh.
That does not mean we're selling the whole coin, but we may take 20-30% off the top into cash off of a couple events. Like there's a hex event happening at the end of this month.
Okay.
There's one happening for Phantom that happens between November, December, and these two alone are such massive moves that there's a good place to kind of take some capital there, then on a dip, then be able to rebuy back in or allocate capital back to the rest of the portfolio. And as the market goes green, if you notice when Trump won in 2016, we had 4 consecutive months, but obviously, we've already lost out a month already, right? So I think when Trump wins, it's going to be 3 green months. I think the reason we didn't get 4 green months is because Kamala Harris. Like if Trump was going against Biden, I think it was an open shut case.
Okay,
but because Kamala Harris was a woman, and they were faking polls saying she was winning all these states and everything.
Dude, it is so obvious.
But it scared people a little. I think it scared people in money because it was like this thing might be so rigged that they're just going to steal it from him. I think it scared some money from the markets. I really do believe that. And I think now when it's become so apparent, because all those same polls are flipping negative, all the prediction markets are going against her now, which is the truth. All these natural disasters that have happened, and they've allocated more money to foreign countries instead of helping our actual U.S. citizens. We originally thought they were going to give $700 to each person in the affected states. Nope, it's $750 per household.
Oh wow!
And if you qualify, without houses there too. I mean,
if you qualify. I saw
a sheriff. There was a tweet where this sheriff basically yesterday was telling these people to get off their own land because they're blocking the road, and literally they're just trying to pick up the pieces of whatever was left. I'm just like, man, it's freaking criminal.
Charlie, that's federal land now.
Huh?
That's federal land now, Charlie.
Domain, baby.
They're doing the same thing there as they did in Hawaii. Okay, like that's great for our country, right?
Oh my God, Jesus,
that was an inside job, 100%. I mean, like even if you're not a conspiracy theorist, if you're not a conspiracy theorist, you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to see what was going on.
Yes, 4 years ago. Yes,
all the blue roofs are okay, but anything that wasn't a blue roof.
Look, I'm telling you right now, as soon as Fox News called Arizona for Biden, I knew the fix was in. I was like, yep, this is it. This is it. We have some really, really good questions here. So Majestic Nigga wants to know, what's your prediction on Kronos and Dogecoin? I'll start with Miguel and then we'll go to Charlie.
Well, you set me up with that one, wow. Okay, so I'll go with Doge because it's a little easier, right?
Okay.
I think Dogecoin is the Bitcoin of meme coins. It's the standard. It's the longest running meme coin on the planet. It runs on top of Litecoin. It's 11 cents right now. I've been recommending people buy this since 6 cents. It's been going between 9, 10, 11 for the last kind of 6 months, basically.
Yeah, looks good.
it does a couple moves. Sometimes it goes up to 15 cents, but comes right back down. So when the market really starts moving, Doge, I really believe this time around, Doge will probably go to $1 to $2.
What?
Yeah, it has a high chance of being the only meme coin to get an ETF.
Oh, wow.
Or at the very least being a part of a cluster of tokens in an ETF, sort of like a mutual fund, essentially of many coins. Funds, I mean, funds are literally getting yelled at, which is hilarious to me. Funds are getting yelled at. Why aren't we in meme coins right now?
Right.
And this is a huge thing. So I posted this the other day because funds, like hedge fund managers and their conspiracy were basically getting yelled at because you guys completely missed the entire meme coin run. You had us in VC coins that didn't do anything, and then we missed the entire half the run for basically because you guys couldn't buy these coins or didn't want to buy these coins.
Right.
So they missed Dogecoin going up, they missed Pepe, they missed Bonk, they missed Floki, they missed. I mean, these are coins we were recommending.
Sure.
I mean, we made a lot of people a lot of money on Pepe. They actually missed a good portion of the AI boom, which is crazy because that was a very VC heavy sort of thing. Okay. But Charlie caught Fetch AI very early on. So it's just this whole thing where like they disregarded how powerful whoever's left in crypto, right? So it's basically VC trade, it's VC investors, which are vulture capitalists and hedge funds and big institutions, and they forget that there's big crypto whales and there's people who like me and Charlie who've been here a long time and our students who aren't just like the normal lay person. We've been around the market for a long time and we know around our way around DeFi and L1s. And since I think what happened was we saw the market and we're like, you know what? I'm not going to play these games with these VC coins. I'm just going to go buy dog coins, frog coins, and this and that, or
L1 Pepe and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what happened. Like, and it's actually one of the first. Shout out to Gary, Gary GG33. He's kind of the guy who kind of showed me like how big the sports gambling world is.
Oh Jesus, it is huge.
The two biggest places where people my age and younger, like I would say like 35 and younger, are really putting a ton of their money. Which I don't know. You should be gambling your entire net worth. Let's like, not the best
a little bit.
Just all the savings, Miguel. Just all.
But a majority of people who would normally be putting into 401ks are just buying parlays.
Oh, that is,
yeah.
I mean, look, man, I'm not a financial expert, but what are we doing?
Right. But this is what's happening because basically the normal person feels like the economy has been bad for 4 years. Like inflation destroyed us.
I
lost my job. I'm, the Android 19 thing happened. I'm at home. I can't get the job I want, so I'm just going to stay here and live on my savings. And so this is what happens. This happened. Me and Charlie know quite a lot about this because, you get these huge hits of cash.
Yeah,
sitting on cash. But then you have to wait until the market gets better. So it's this whole thing where, a lot of people, you're just sitting on your savings and you see your savings going down. So people start getting nervous and they start taking shots. So this leads people into doing parlays, doing sports bets, doing something to get a couple wins and essentially gambling. And that's actually what happened. So we saw this both on the high end and the low end of like millennials and Zoomers and some of the younger Xers where they're basically saying, screw it, man. Like, I can afford to risk $100 on a parlay that might pay me $900, or I can risk $500 on this parlay and essentially pay my I have my 2 months of mortgage paid off if I hit this.
Right.
And they believe that. They're like, well, that's instant gratification. Like I can wait 2 weeks and this will pay me $3,800.
Yeah. Delayed gratification is the key.
It is the key, but also at the same time too, like I'm having a hard time blaming them because like if you put it in equities, you're not going to make, unless you are literally just buying one stock, that can make you some returns. But if you take $500, you put it in Nvidia and it doubles. Okay, cool, you made some money. Like there's only a couple stocks that do that. So this, like, you're better off putting it in crypto, and that's what happened too. Is like people saw these. I think a lot of people treated the same way in the crypto market. All these VC coins have these huge unlocks. I'm not doing it. I'm just going to buy the main L1 tokens I know and I like, and then I'm going to buy a bunch of meme coins. And that's exactly what happened in the market.
Wow,
it crossed our mind as soon as we started looking at sports, and we're like, it's the same demographic. Holy shit!
Literally the same demographic, man.
And we caught this on pretty early on in 2023. 2023 is when we first saw this kind of thing, and then me and Charlie talked about it quite a lot, and we're like, oh, this is what's happening. Actually,
you know, I'll tell you something. You guys were at the CME last year in Miami. Guys, I was shocked. Like, I'm standing in the back of the room, and I was shocked at the number of guys who were on their phones placing sports bets. Like, I was like, everybody, and yeah, right. I love sports, and dude, I've lived in Nevada. This is now my second stint living in Nevada. I've never been into sports gambling, and everyone says, Donovan, you should do sports gambling, because that's just not what I want to do, man. That is scary to me, man.
You got to know yourself, because you
do.
Like, well, I was a very cautious person in real life. Like, I didn't gamble. So, like, when I go gamble, like, I can control myself, and, you know, like, you can have a budget to do stuff. But there's people who are very, very, very impulsive or don't know themselves very well.
They chase their losses.
It can lead into disaster.
God. Oh my God.
Overly emotional people generally don't do
that's
that.
Too.
Yeah.
If you want to see how far sports gambling can really tank a person's life, watch the movie 2 for the Money. Al Pacino and Matthew McConaughey. Oh my God. Crazy.
Yeah. The other thing about the CME last year, right, is I don't know if you remember the price of Bitcoin, but it was about $25,000 to $28,000.
I did not know that. Okay. All right.
So we were I don't know if you have the recording laying around. That'd be hilarious to watch, because we were literally telling people it was almost exactly a year ago. And we were saying, we were standing up in front of everybody at the CME.
No, and I couldn't fucking find it. I couldn't.
And we told you guys, right? Hey,
you did.
You can literally buy Bitcoin today on your Cash App in the CME.
Yeah.
And then you can convert some of it later into other coins if you want to play the market, if you want to get in the course, all this stuff. But we're telling you right now, the market is at a great spot. And, you know, there's a good chunk of people there that listen to us, have made some good money. And then there's the people who, you know, probably didn't think about it too much. And if they remember it now that we're talking about it, they might be like, oh, fuck, because that's a 2.5x on your money in the course
Hell
of year.
Man.
On just Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
And I want to say one thing, too.
Yes, sir.
That I want to apologize right now, because we bled over 30 minutes extra than we should have been.
No, that's
people were asking good questions.
They were asking good questions. And listen, I knew the two of you were going to get the most questions of everybody. So, listen, man, I moved the schedule around to accommodate you guys, but you guys gave some great information, man. So, hey, thanks for staying 20 minutes or 30 minutes extra over. Alvin Uriarte. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Mike's World. Oh, boy. Mike's World wants to know, how bad will sell-off be if Kamala wins? Charlie, I'm going to let you lead off. Miguel, you to clean up.
I don't think we'll see one right away. I do think no matter what happens with the election, we go into a cycle low around that time, and then we get a pump into the Thanksgiving period. What I think is more important is what happens going into Thanksgiving. So if we are going into Thanksgiving and there's a lot of turmoil globally, because that's the one thing that if she wins, all of a sudden she's still, you know, in the administration with being the vice president. So when she gets inaugurated in January, she can, I mean, Biden's basically a puppet, right? So we could start trying to implement, you know, her different policies and stuff when it comes to war. And if, you know, that's, you know, if that's to escalate war, that's where it would be extremely dangerous, right? And in terms of Trump, right, he's the only president that didn't start any new wars or escalate wars crazily, right? He actually tried to de-escalate war during his time in office. So I think if he wins, basically you have a lot less likelihood of other countries acting up.
That's one way to put it. Miguel, how bad will sell-off be if Kamala wins?
Well, thank you, Tom. As a professional misogynist here. You know, I think there will be. I think it'll be the market won't like it, but I think it'll recover. I think it'd be like a small, like in terms of crypto, it might be a 10% sell off.
Okay.
And in the overall market, it might just be a couple points. I think it'll be kind of just sideways, really. I think the Fed would actually bail her out basically by just keep cutting rates, because if the economy kept weakening, they would just cut rates more. Like, it'd be this weird game where like they're cutting rates fast enough to stop it from collapsing, I think is what's going on. And it didn't matter if Trump or they'll help out Trump or this is the thing that like they're very bipartisan in a way. Like their mandate is basically they're going to help whoever's in office.
Okay,
we're here to make who's ever in office good, as long as it makes sense for the economy. Jerome Powell is a pretty straight shooter on that side. We've had previous people in the Fed that have been a little bit more squirrely with it, a little bit more on the Republican or Democrat side, but it's just kind of because the economy is such in a very precarious situation, they can't really play games that much. The only thing I would probably say is Jerome Powell probably could have cut rates an extra 4 or 5 months earlier. Really, that's the only thing I give him some shit on. But him and the people at the Fed essentially wanted more people to get layoffs from real estate, because real estate was still maintaining. And there were also one big thing I think they were watching as well is that over COVID, America's savings rate increased to 30%. This is from, not stimmy checks. No. It's so okay. That's the aggregate, right? But like the stimmy checks were no, dude. Everyone just spent it right away, right? Or it went into crypto, or it went into Amazon's pocket. What really happened was small business owners got essentially free loans and were able to take on loans that they didn't have to pay back ever, and loans that they did have to pay back. But it was just so much capital. Imagine like I'm a small business owner with 15 employees. I could have gotten $1 million for free, and then gotten somewhere up to like $5-10 million to pay back.
God.
And that's the money. And then when you're a small business owner or larger, this is the kind of money where like, let's give myself a little yacht. Let me do this. Or they just put it all in equities. That's why equities went like this. This is why crypto went like that. It was all off the back of all this money that was printed. This is why Rolexes wouldn't stop going up. Used car market was going bananas. Because there's small businesses of all sizes, but basically the largest employer in America is small businesses.
Yes, of course. Yeah. I think it's 90% of all American businesses are
it's a small business. The average guy, like the average small business probably is hiring 1 to 5 people, which is usually family members but as they grow a little bigger, it's usually somewhere between like it's the 10 to 15 to 25 employees. Like before I went on YouTube full time like this, I was running at my peak, I had 15 employees.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. The landscaping business that you had. Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
I had 15 employees, but I was somewhere in the 8 range, 8 employee range. And so 15 is when I was getting a lot of jobs and stuff. And then sometimes like the jobs kind of started drying up, and I'd have to scale it back down.
Sure, of course. Yeah, like any business. Like
any business, yeah.
Exactly. Right. Of course. All right, so let's get into, as we round third and head for home, because I know you guys have other obligations. I've got a breakdown here pretty soon. Explain the upgraded advanced technical analysis in the crypto mindset course in Q4. I remember, I think Charlie touched on it a little bit. You said it was going to be souped up. How is the ATA, I guess you say, how is that going to be different from other crypto mindset courses in the past?
Yeah, no problem. So with all the courses, we basically give you the basics of technical analysis. So if you know nothing about it, we give you the chart of like, okay, this is the most basic chart. It's usually your Bollinger Bands with a 10 moving average on any time frame. That's your basic tools that you need there. Maybe a little RSI and some other stuff. You add to it, you get a basic chart. You could, and then you do candlestick patterns and then trend lines, and then boom, all of a sudden you got the basics of what you need. So we explain that within one webinar for you guys. And if you don't know anything about what I just said, right, they'd be like, okay, I need to jump in, right? Because it works for other markets too, right? You can use this for Forex, you can use it for stocks, you can use it for anything that has a chart there. But the advanced technical analysis that we're going into, last quarter we did a bit of an advanced section on 60-day cycles, how other 4-year cycles work, and then some Elliott wave patterns as well. But this quarter we're teaming up with one of our employees who's we call him TA on chain. So he mixes technical analysis with on-chain data, which is another, we did basic charting previously, right?
Right.
But we're teaming up as kind of like a tag team. So we're kind of we break down a toolbox of what happens in charting, right? First, you need your time-based tools, your price-based tools, your momentum indicators, and then your trend indicators. So if you have all 4 of those boxes, we basically are going to break down in each of those boxes of your tool set, because I think a lot of people, when they get all the technical analysis, they sometimes get overwhelmed with it.
Yes, I was just going to say that, because sometimes too much information is too much information. Yeah,
exactly. So we break it down in this organized way so that we can kind of give you like a little bit of a platter of different types of tools, and we give you more visuals that you can take home on slides and stuff like that too. So that way,
that'll help.
Yeah, you can kind of jump into it more. So it's really good for kind of like visual learners, like I was saying before. In addition to that, Miguel is going to basically give us a pretty advanced breakdown on the Phantom ecosystem, because it's moving over to Sonic. So that's kind of like a live use case of fundamental analysis tool. I don't know if you want to jump on that a little bit.
Of course.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, and just one last thing too is that because like Charlie teaches TA and I teach fundamental analysis.
Right.
Basically what that is I show you how to research a coin, and also like what are the important things of a coin. It's a coin's fundamentals in order for it to pump, or what are detriments to it, and basically how to actually overall look at the coin in its structure, right?
Yeah.
And another part of fundamental analysis has sort of I've kind of become a psychologist effectively, where I've had to figure out the psychology of essentially the group, kind of categorizing it in terms of are there a bunch of fucking crazies?
Wow,
are they good lunatics?
Wow.
It's really useful stuff, essentially, how to kind of like more or less, like I wouldn't say like how to judge a book by its cover, but basically teaching people how to do that in an effective way. And after that, W Charlie, W Miguel, W Donovan Sharp. That's right.
Yeah, there we go. I am in. Listen, I'm just along for the ride, guys. I'm just along for the ride. What are your thoughts, Miguel, on the advanced? Oh no, I just asked you that. There was there was one more question that I just missed. Oh, there it is. So Eduardo Hex and Ethereum says Crow is such a sleeper. What is Crow, and why is it a sleep? Why does he think it's a sleeper? Agree or disagree, Charlie?
Yeah, I agree that it is a sleeper. We've actually been saying this for quite a while in our course. The Crow tokens, Chronos, which is a blockchain related.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And so they have a big community, a lot of people paying attention to it and stuff like that. If you look at the price, I'll just talk about it, but you guys can pull it up.
I'm looking for it now here.
Yeah. It's number 46.
There it is. Got it. I got it. Chronos. Yep. Okay.
Yep. And so like the all-time high for that one in 21 was about 80 cents. In the bear market, it dumped down to about 5 cents, and it's currently about 8. So
okay. All right.
This is a token that we feel is kind of undervalued. It's still in its accumulation phase. Basically, the accumulation was all during the bear market, and the early bull market has all been happening under 15 cents. So it's still well below there. And this one probably takes off more so with like an altcoin season.
Okay.
So you probably, I could do some fib levels on it later to get you an exact price. But one of the areas that I would see it going towards first is about back to 41 cents, which from 8 cents, right, is about a 5x. You can chill off maybe for a bit there at the beginning of the year. And then it probably can go towards 80 cents, if not towards $1 plus, once we really get into like an altcoin season sometime next year. So it's pretty cheap. And you got a 10x plus within it. There's actually a lot of coins in crypto that have the 10x plus potential from where we are in the market right now.
Oh, really? And you'll go over the potential 10x coins in the crypto mindset course.
Yeah, we look at the top 50 coins by market cap and jump into that, and then we got some low cap gems that are a little bit more risky. We explain why or how they are risky to you guys as well, which can do far more than that. But
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Great. There was one, I think that might have been. Oh, yeah. So Alvin Uriate says basic review plus added bonuses. That to me, that's the real value of the course. Is obviously you want to learn, how to buy, sell, and trade, cryptocurrency. But having the added bonuses along with the basic review is absolutely awesome. So I'd like for the both of you to discuss there was one question I had in my mind. So, Miguel, you like the two of you have like different specialties. One of you does the analytical side, and one of you does another side. Can you explain what that is again?
Sure. Yeah. So I do the fundamental analysis.
That's it.
Yeah, and Charlie does technical analysis.
FA and TA. There it is. That's what I saw. That. Okay.
Yeah. Then we have our guy Mike.
There's a bit of a crossover as well.
Okay.
Yeah, like I still do some TA personally as well, but so does Charlie. Does fundamental analysis, and it's a big thing that we teach our students not to just get completely one-sided. No matter what it's kind of a way like it ends up kind of we end up splitting students off a little bit because some students just naturally are more on the FA side.
Okay.
And some are just more on the TA side. But we always constantly remind people to, look at I remind my guys to keep looking at the charts, and Charlie keeps reminding people to look at what it does and who's behind it. And because these are important things, because there's plenty of people we met in crypto where they just like, well, I'm just good at this one thing, so I'm gonna ignore everything else. And they get themselves into very dangerous traps because like, oh, the chart just looks so good, and don't know that there's a huge event coming up that could completely or like on my side, on the fundamental side, like it looks incredible, it's going to run, and the chart just doesn't show it. It just looks like it's just going to keep failing, basically, right? Or another big part that happens on the fundamental side is they get so in love with the community or the little friend group they have that they completely just kind of get this tribalism where they just forget why they came here. They came here to make money.
Yeah,
they came here to make money, and then that's what happens. Is like they get like, I'm a part of the gang now. I'm a part of the gang now, and they're focusing so much on this that they just completely stop looking at the rest of the market or their portfolio. And then when they look up, they've wasted half the bull run. Hopefully, the big hope is sometimes there is coins like that and stuff that at the end pump really crazy, and that kind of redeems everything. But sometimes these guys are so bad at choosing coins that they just wasted the bull run, basically.
Dude, wasting a bull run is my biggest fear. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, it's usually the confluence between fundamentals and technicals that really show like where my research bleeds into the fundamentals, and then Miguel's bleeds into the TA, where those two, like sometimes we'll have like, let's say an 80% agreement on our research, but we came from two totally different areas to make the same conclusion. When that happens, we're like, oh shit,
that's credibility.
Okay. That's about correct, right? Yeah. Versus if they're giving us completely different signals, it's like, okay, we got to do more work to figure this out. And the other aspect of this is on-chain data, and on-chain data, that's basically the only type of analysis that's different from traditional markets, because it's absolutely only for crypto, right? It's looking at data on the blockchain, who's has what, like, for example, we said the US government has 200,000 Bitcoin, right? How could that affect the market if that wallet started to move, stuff like that? And so when those three converge, it always is a really good sign. And so we try to get people to at least understand what we're talking about when we talk about those three sectors, so that they can't get fooled by people out there. Because like Miguel said, there's some people who try to create a narrative in the market with TA or with on-chain data or with news of what's happening in the market. So there's all, whenever there's money, you always get some shady people. So you have to be able to see past those.
Trying to spin the narrative.
And then me and Charlie also come in contact with, like, we have different teaching styles, and then we sometimes we use like these different teaching styles to break through everyone, kind of the psyche a little bit in order to because not everyone understands. If I'm a teacher, right, like there's no way that I'll be like, I'll try to be the best teacher I possibly can, but there just might be somebody that just doesn't understand what I mean, right? And this is where like Charlie, the way he teaches, could just break through. This is why like I've gotten really good at like, I mean, I do a lot of little jokes in order to make it so, because sometimes people don't understand like how can my favorite influencer, how is he getting me to do something? And I'm like, well, all right, so let me show you, right? Let's just say your favorite influencer gets $30,000 in secret from this project, and the project's dog shit, but he got the 30,000, so he's like, bro, this is the best project on earth.
Yes,
bro.
Right.
Looking like a parrot, right? And he's like, and then there are people like, best project on the planet. I must buy.
Perfect.
and that's kind of what happened. And then when I put it in these really ridiculous terms, they're like, people are like, oh, because I'm making a caricature of it. I'm making a complete act out of it, that it just makes it very apparent. Like, So you think this coin when we look at the chart doesn't look like shit, or another one like bro, this coin's gonna 40x in a month, bro. This is the best time to buy.
And then bah,
must buy.
Boo.
But instead, they're using their people. Like, there's one. So some people are getting money from projects. Other guys who got their bags super cheap, the coin's at 40 times in a month or 2 months. I need money to sell. Get these guys to buy while I dump on them. It's cutthroat. It's cutthroat out there. You know.
Yeah, that's a bad situation. Go ahead, Charlie.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say that's why when people have their bias, right, because they're getting paid by a project or whatever, that's how the majority of crypto channels, or I don't know even what you want to call them, people on Twitter, people on YouTube,
right,
influencers or whatever, you know, the majority of those people, they take money from projects a lot of the time, and so they're always biased on something. Whereas for us, we monetize ourselves by giving you guys value. So our job is to make you guys money. That's how we maintain our success, right? So we create this positive feedback loop that our success is your success and vice versa, and we all go to the moon together, rather than some of these channels are basically like, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna help you out, like go buy this, you know, coin that I just got paid, you know, $1 million.
Oh my god, it's almost like special interest groups that influence politicians, right? Yeah. It's like, okay, are they telling me, are these politicians telling me this because it's what's best for me and my family, or are they telling me this because their palms just got greased to the tune of $25 million? It sounds to me like a lot of crypto influencers are, you know, selling projects just like you said. They got 30 grand, the project is shit. Well, they got to be a parrot because they got the money, right? And so how can you trust guys like that?
Donovan, as a politician, your child needs to go to war. Like, I'm sorry, we have to defend the country. This little nation island and stuff.
Wait, what did you say, Charlie?
That's just the firstborn sons. No.
Shit, I'm the firstborn son. I'm not going no goddamn where. Got a couple of super chats here, and then I'll ask you one final question. Clan Siege 20, $5 super chat says, "What are your thoughts on Phantom?" Miguel, and then Charlie.
Buy. It's a really, really great coin. It's I think it's going to be one of the high flyers of next year once it converts into Sonic. Okay. I do believe it's going to probably have either a shaky quarter one or a shaky quarter two, one of those two, because it's not always straight up. But once it converts over, I think it's going to have a really good time. I think it's going to be one of the bigger darlings for the end of the bull run. But doesn't matter from Solana to anything else. It will have a quarter what it kind of does shittily, right? But I think it's going to do very, very well. The tech's incredible, and what I like about Phantom is its underlying projects pump very well, which is very rare. Most projects, their main coin is the only thing that pumps, and all the underlying coins really don't make much money.
Okay, very good. Charlie, what are your thoughts on Phantom? It's at 67 cents right now.
Yeah, I agree with everything Miguel said right there. Short term, I think Phantom's target on its next move is 83 cents. We were saying, we were saying that in the bear, well, not the bear, but in the bear and beginning of the bull market, the accumulation range for this was under 44 cents. And we were screaming about that for like over a year. Yeah. And so there's a lot of people that have got that price. And so the 83 cents is interesting because that's a right 2x from the top of that range that we recommended people to get in. So it's going in the right place. And its move to Sonic here is really interesting because the guy who is kind of promoting it the most, but also one of their biggest developers, named Andre Krohn.
Yes, we talked about him last week.
Yeah. He's one of the founders of the DeFi space. And he's in charge of Sonic Labs, which their mission is essentially to get the word out there about Sonic and Phantom. And it seems like they've gotten some of the biggest influencers in the crypto space that were big on Solana to shift over a little bit more towards Phantom. And so, if you get a few developers, you get a few big influencers on your side, the rotation for the next kind of big alt season, this can be one of your main tokens in that.
Okay.
And the biggest lending and borrowing markets have agreed to come on the new platform. So it's going to have native USDC, and it's going to have, which means they're working with Coinbase and they're working with Circle.
Oh yeah.
And they're also going to have Aave, which is the biggest lending. That's just billions of dollars that are going to be parked over there. So it's huge.
So all signs are pointing in the right direction for Phantom for sure.
Yeah, they got stamped. They got stamped the money. They got the money stamp now.
Okay, perfect. Good answers. Kamal with the €6 super chat says, having these two experts sharing all their knowledge saves you years of making mistakes. The course pays back for itself many times over. I would wholeheartedly agree. So the last two questions, I'm going to ask the both of you a different question. It's going to be of the same sort of branch. And I'm going to start with Charlie. I'm sorry, I'm going to start with Miguel. Miguel, what is the best reason? What is the best reason to get into the crypto mindset course, quarters 3 and 4? If I'm like, okay, I want to do this, I've got my money, but I need to be pushed over the edge. I don't know anything. Miguel, how does this give me an advantage over other people who don't have it?
It's just being a part of it's just being part of one of the biggest revolutions in finance of this last 100 years. I mean, right now crypto is growing faster than I mean, if you look at where cell phones were or internet, it's growing faster than. This is something that was said by BlackRock, which is, I mean, those are the money man of the world right now, right? They're saying that crypto themselves is saying crypto is growing faster than both internet did and mobile did. It's the next tech stack. We're basically, if you don't know how to use crypto, you're gonna be more financially illiterate. You're able to. It's about financial literacy and also owning a piece of this digital real estate.
Yes,
in a way, even though people call it a commodity, a real estate, a stock, and everything like that. It's everything. It's whatever you think. Yes, it's all of that put together. But because of the rules of cryptocurrency and because it's either got a very low inflation rate or the coins are all in existence, when you own a piece of this network, you get the network effect. It's not like cell phone. It isn't like because I had an iPhone, I got rich off an iPhone, right? You had to own Apple stock, right?
Right.
The whole thing is the whole feature, the whole phone, the whole technology. It is owning the stock.
Yes.
The crypto. Okay. So it's this whole thing where by you owning it and you being early, you get rich.
Okay, I like that.
Which is a feature, not a bug.
I like that. Okay, Charlie, so now let's go to the other side of that. What happens if somebody's got $5,000 burning a hole in their pocket and they say, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to try to do this thing on my own. What risk do people run by not enrolling in the crypto mindset course quarter 3, quarter 4?
Yeah, so I mean, we've created this course as something that we wish we would have had when we first started in crypto.
Yes.
And, I put multiple 5-figure into crypto when I first started. And, I first started with, just 1,000, right? Threw that in there. Within 2 months, it went to $4,000. I'm like, holy shit. This is probably the most interesting thing I've seen, because I was really not that interested in finance before that. But that opened my eyes. I'm like, oh, shit, this is a market where I can win. The traditional market is highly rigged, right?
Sure.
And like Miguel said, right, if you're not literate in the crypto space, if you don't understand what this is before everybody else, you have no edge. And so if you jump on the train, let's say in 2029 instead of 2024 and 2025, then not only will you be late to the party, but the best gains will be gone. And the market's going to be way more complex at that time. So really what we've built with the Moon Gang is, hey, we give you guys your base layer knowledge. We help you pay attention over time, but we cut your research down by a ton. So I estimate that, we tell people the fire's hot, but not everybody says, or not everybody believes us. So some people got to go touch the fire and figure it out for themselves. If that's you and that $5,000 is burning a hole in your pocket, well, let it burn in your portfolio, and maybe you win some, maybe you lose some, but you didn't do as well as you could have. Versus we tell you guys what the most common mistakes, what the most common wins, everything that you should and shouldn't be doing in this market. So that way you don't fall into the traps, right? So I think a lot of people focus on how much money can I make and not enough sometimes on how much can I lose, and then almost how much time am I wasting? Because you can go on YouTube and find a lot of information, but you're going to be grasping at straws, not know what's what, falling for somebody's bullshit here and there, and you just won't really have like a compass or a barometer that's really telling you which way to go. Versus here, we're like, bro, you're like totally turned around and lost in the woods. Like, here's some water, here's some stuff, like go this way, bro. This way, and sometimes people just need a reorientation. and that saves them a ton of time. So my estimation is that we probably save everybody who jumps into the course anywhere between 2 to 4 years on their learning curve. So that alone is worth the price because, to be honest, it's way too damn cheap for that.
Before I ask this last question by Alvin Uriarte, I actually had a situation myself. I was interested in starting a business probably back in February. And, you know, I did a little bit of research on the business. I'm a pretty business savvy guy. And so I started taking the steps to open and run this business. And I noticed that there are a lot of things that were happening that I did not expect. It was very unexpected. And so I started looking for more information, and I got all the free information on YouTube. But then I saw this one guy who was selling a course. He says, look, man, I'm going to save you years of research. And I think the course cost me like $400 or $500. Best $400 or $500 I've ever spent, because now I can focus on running the business instead of how to learn to run the business, because now my resources can be put, they can be more efficient. They can be put more to good use. I would compare that exactly with what you guys are doing. You guys are gonna shorten the learning curve. You guys are flattening the learning curve. The lay person, the advanced person, it doesn't matter. This is the absolute course that you need to get into. Karn, before I ask this question, says, I've definitely saved hours of resource just talking in the course chats. Yeah. And that's before you even get to the meat and potatoes. Alvin Uriarte says, one last question. Says, what key factor should I evaluate before joining the World Liberty Financial Token sale? And is it worth securing a whitelist spot in terms of risk versus reward? Very good question. Miguel, fire first. Oh, boy. Okay.
It pains me to say this.
Is this another XRP thing?
No.
Okay, all right.
This has to do with Trump, and I'm a huge Trump supporter. But
oh, yeah, same here.
But I don't like how they handled the NFTs recently.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it's a cash grab or anything like that, right? Sure. But this product, this World Liberty Financial Token, and in terms of the people who can actually use it, or it's basically you have to be whitelisted and you have to be a person that already makes quite a lot of money. So you already have to be a person that makes $1 million a year in order to even use it. So that's going to limit the amount of people that use it. If you do want to get in the token sale, what I would probably tell you is maybe cut down what you're going to invest in it by 75%.
Right.
And then use that other money and wait to see until the token crashes real low and then buy it. So I think you have some, be in it.
Okay.
But use use at least 3/4 of the money to kind of buy the low, because I think when it launches, it'll pump up, and then when it crashes and everyone hates it, buy it there, and I think it'll repump again, and I think you make more money that way. You just have to play the time game with it.
Yeah, and you don't even need to get whitelisted to do that, right? You can just wait until it comes out and it's available to the public. Don't have to worry about being an accredited investor or anything like that. Yeah. And like Miguel said, most of these tokens, when they come out, they do a bit of a pump and they dump into desolation, and then that's a good place to grab it up. So yeah, just wait till it's public, and then reassess where the market's at that point. But
okay, very good.
Yeah, it's one that I'm like, it should do some moves here and there, but we don't know until it has to prove itself for the first 3 or 6 months.
He's got his hands tied behind his back because he has to be super above the not above the law, but it's just they have these fake protections. It's like, well, everyone who is not an accredited investor is stupid, so they don't know anything about investing. That they shouldn't be really allowed to own houses, but I guess we have to let them, But this is how they think, these accredited investors and the people who put these laws in place. It's basically a way to essentially limit the amount of people that actually can get deal flow. Because if you actually allowed everyone to invest into businesses just like VCs did, VCs would struggle, basically.
Yeah, right.
They would have competition, because there's an incredibly amount. The amount of people who are smart in this world who want to invest just basically can't get access to these deals because they're just not allowed to.
And there's a lot of regulatory risk that Trump,
of course,
was running too, because it's still the Wild West here in crypto.
Right, and I can go on Aave right now and borrow money. I can go on Aave right now, borrow money and stuff, and whatever it costs, but I can get it, right? And that's the beautiful thing about being in a decentralized world, where if I can put up the collateral, I can get money, right?
There you go.
But he has to play by the law, but the strict dumb laws that need to be updated, basically.
And this, of course, is why crypto. This is why you guys have always said it. cryptocurrency is the red pill of the finance world, man. And listen, man, and I remember hearing Miguel say this. Look, when you use Cash App and Apple Pay, like you're already using digital money. What's the difference? What's the difference is just that, the little symbol before or after it. So listen, man, jump on. You guys, you gotta jump on this, man, because at some point, this is going. I think cryptocurrency is going to become like the worldwide currency. And if you don't have the skill, if you're not adept at how this works, just like you said, you're going to be financially illiterate. And there are a lot of people out here who are financially illiterate as it is. And this would really just kind of put them further behind.
Yeah, the one thing I want to add to that, because that's a really good point, is there's a lot of people who are financially illiterate because obviously they didn't get taught in school and everything like that. Sure. And traditional markets, the terminology is way too, over their head. Like a lot of the terminology in traditional markets is used to keep people out. So it's not necessarily, they sound all fancy, oh, this coin has high beta, it just has a lot of volatility. Like, come on, just say a normal word here, right? And it's like, so crypto actually breaks through a lot of that. It's like, oh, this is a pump and dump. It's much easier to recognize stuff for what it is.
I like that, pumping up another red pill term. They are Charlie and Miguel, Dollar Cost Crypto. And cultivate, and cultivate crypto. The crypto mindset course closes tonight at 11:55 p.m. If you want to enroll, today is the day. It is the last day. The link is in the description as well as pinned in the chat. Charlie and Miguel, as always, you guys, listen, man, you guys always come with the knowledge, man. My audience loves you guys. And we are very, very much looking forward to the Q3, Q4 of the crypto mindset course, guys. We appreciate you making time for us today.
So thanks for having us.
That is going to do it for this edition of Crypto Oasis. We'll see you guys next time.